Talking heads, I guess take two.
It's actually pretty easy. The marking system, it looks, when you look at it for the first time, it looks pretty complicated. But when you realize what the system is, I can explain the system to you in 10 minutes. And you will be able to work with it in 30 minutes. And if you practice a little bit, you will be able to do miracles with it. It's actually because I created the butterfly playing cards for myself. So it has to be practical and it has to be kind of foolproof. And I really made it so it's logical and it makes sense. So it actually is easy. So it was really difficult to find somebody who would be actually able to manufacture these cards because of the way they're marked, they have to be cut precisely. And only Cardamundi in Belgium was able to guarantee 0.5 millimeter registration, which is unheard of. Like no other factory in the world I know of can do anything close to that. When you take the cards out of the box for the first time and you start learning the marking system, there are some effects that you can do almost immediately, like cutting to any card called for. That is the most basic thing. Finding the missing card will take you about an hour to really practice how to do that. And to identify any reversed card in the deck, after you understand how the marking system works, that's pretty much instant as well. If you don't use stack deck, like if you don't use Mnemonica or Aronson or anything like that, great, because you don't need to know anything about it. This is actually for those who don't want to learn stack deck, or who can't, or they feel like it's hard for their memory to just hold it. This deck is constantly in stack because you know all the positions of all the cards in the deck just by looking at the cards right now. Like, name any card, Matthew.
The Ace of Diamonds.
So the Ace of Diamonds is second from the top right now. It's a shuffled deck. 1, 2, boom. Name any other card, different card. Okay, wait. I'm gonna shuffle first. Genuine shuffle. I'm gonna cut.
A 9 of Diamonds.
The 9 of Diamonds right now is about 14th from the bottom, but I can cut to it. It's right here. Boom. You never used a marked deck before? Well, this is the best way to start. Yeah, of course. No, like a lot of people don't want to use marked deck because it feels like cheating. Get over yourself. This is so good. This just opens a whole new world. Like, starting to learn doing magic with marked cards with these, that's amazing. The top 5 cards you can do with the butterfly deck. First, you can cut to any card. 2, you can identify any number of missing cards in the deck. 3, you can identify any number of reversed cards in the deck, reversed end for end. You can riffle stack much easier than with any other deck. And isn't it enough? You can actually, oh yeah, that's my 5th favorite part, favorite feature of the deck. You can actually use them as cards because they're playing cards, so you can do all the other magic effects you've ever done with the cards because they're playing cards. the question is, are these cards from Cardamundi as good or close to as good as USPCC cards, bicycle cards? Yes, they're really good. They feel good, and interestingly enough, because of the way the varnish is put on and the linen and the way they're cut, they actually, for me, they last longer than bicycle playing cards. And that is quite important actually with this kind of marking for those to last long, and they do. In the instructional videos there are 7 clips. The first one teaches you the marking system. The second one teaches you how to cut to any card called for. The third one teaches you to identify any missing card in the deck. The fourth one teaches you how to identify any reversed card in the deck. The fifth one teaches you how to, if someone shuffles the cards like this, so they scramble the one-way orientation of the cards, how through an effect, how to put them back in the one-way orientation order. Then there is my favorite effect for the one-way marking system. That is just on one side, which is important for this, which is really baffling. It is 3 piles, and the cards are shuffled, card is selected, put back, shuffled again. The spectator cuts the cards into 3 piles, and you are able to identify in which pile the selected card is, what card it is, and where in that pile the card is. And the last video shows my favorite use of the two-way marking system. That's the second marking system that is in the deck, and that's called clocking with a kicker, and you should wait for it to see it because it's really good. I'm not going to tell you what exactly it is. If you already use a marked deck, that's great, because you can use these cards for all the marked cards effects that you already do. Plus, you can do some effects with these cards that you can't do with any other marked cards on the market. I promise. Do you need to have any advanced knowledge of sleight of hand to locate cards? No, this is all you need to know how to do. I'm gonna shuffle the cards, and I'm gonna ask Matthew to name any card. Cut. Matthew?
Ace of diamonds.
The ace of diamonds. So to locate an ace of diamonds, this is the most complicated sleight of hand thing you have to do. Now I know is the second from the top. Right there. Surprised it is. Yeah, no, you don't need to know any sleight of hand. It's super easy. Oh, let me try this. Matthew, name any other card.
Ace of clubs.
The ace of clubs. Okay. Meow, 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 meow. Charlie cut. That's pretty good. And that's not a hard slide, right? And it's easy. Miracles. If you want to get the book or our treasure set with the book, the first thing you're gonna learn is the first chapter is called Hunting the Butterflies. It will tell you exactly how I came up with the marking system and with the features that are in the butterfly playing cards. Then there's a chapter on one-way reversals. There are some that are done in hands. There are some that are done hands off, that only spectators select a card, and by a certain process they reverse their selected card in the deck without you actually doing anything, just guiding them through the process. So there are options for you. And in the instructional videos, you learn, I think, 4 of the things that are in the book. There are 2 things in the videos that are not in the book. But in the book, there are about 12 routines. I would say 10 routines plus some variations. And yeah, you don't need the book, but if you get it, there's a lot of outs and a lot of advice about how to do your magic with butterfly playing cards better. The question is that I'm known for butterfly playing cards, but what other hobbies I have? Well, one thing that I would like to say is right now, because of the cards, I'm known as a card guy. I'm not. I just accidentally stumbled upon this idea. I feel the strongest about stage magic. Actually, I have a silent stage act in my head. I've had it for about 10 years now, and I will do it eventually. And that's really what I feel the strongest about, like silent stage magic. But what are my hobbies? I love films. I love theater. I studied theater for 6 years. I really like some sports. I had been doing golf for a while, for a few years. I like that a lot. I do like to swim. I do like to travel. I really like nature. I love nature. But what inspires me the most are films, are dancers, watching dancing. I'm not a great dancer. I'm not a bad dancer, but I'm not a good dancer, really. But I love dancing. I love musicals, and I love theater, and that inspires me tremendously. The question is if I'm planning on doing more color versions of the butterfly playing cards. Yes, I have 2 in mind actually, but it's not like, okay, they're gonna be green or they're gonna be yellow. I have 2 specific ones. One is very, very classy, and it is very special because it is difficult to do it on these. Again, it's technologically very difficult to make, but because I know how to do it now, and Cardamundi can do it, yeah, that's one version we're gonna do. I'm not gonna tell you what exactly it is, but it's super cool. And then we're gonna do another one that is actually not just one color, but a little more, and that looks so good. You'll see. Who are my biggest influences in card magic and handling? The truth is that since I'm not a card guy at all, well, now I kind of am, I guess. But I've never had really any mentors that would teach me card magic. But I should say, well, it's easy. It's Master Ascanio through his books, especially the structural conception of magic. Then it's Juan Tamariz, because of the Magic Way and the five points in magic. It is Darwin Ortiz because of his book Designing Miracles, which I love. And there's one more, I think. Annemann. Well, so Theodore Annemann, you can see also in my book there's a lot of references to Annemann. So Theodore Annemann is one of the big influences as well. So it is Tamariz, Ortiz, Ascanio, and Annemann. That will be the top 4 influences in card magic for me. What are my habits, creative habits, to get better in magic? Well, one is read books. I really like digging into old magic books and new magic books. I use Dennis Bear's archive all the time. When I was going to include oil and water in my card magic show, I would just write oil and water into the magic archive, and there would be a long list of references, and I would go to the library of the Magic Castle. I would take all they had from that list. I would read everything and just pick the best version of oil and water I could have found, and then I made it fit the show, and then I was so happy. I've never done oil and water before, so I had to do the research, and it was so worth it. So books, do your homework, do your research. Spend a lot of time with magicians, with mentors, because that's the best. Brainstorming with your friends, also asking questions, people you admire. If you get to magic convention and you find someone who you really admire, don't hesitate. Be polite. Don't disturb them at their lunch, but they're there also to hang out very often. So you go hang out with them, jam with them, ask them questions, and they will be willing to help you. Also, and that's a paradox, don't spend too much time with magicians. Spend time with other things as well. Movies, theater, read novels, normal books, not just magic books. Get a lot from the culture outside of magic, because that's what makes you you. And you is what you want to put in your magic. You don't want to be Richard Turner or Johnny Thompson or Darwin Ortiz or Danny Ortiz. You want to be you, and that's what will make you stand out. Yeah, that I think is my advice, if I can dare to give any. I come from the Czech Republic, and that's where I started when I was 10. I was going to magic club for kids for 2 years, and then I was lucky enough to meet Ivan Alan Weyer. He is a Czech magician who fled to Sweden in 1968 and then lived in Sweden for 30 years and traveled the world doing magic. And I was lucky enough to meet him back in Prague, and he kind of took me under his wings, and he taught me a lot about magic. And he was the first one who actually, after 4 years in magic, or 3 or 4, he showed me Divernon. That's when I first knew about Divernon, Channing Pollock, Slidini, all of the legends, and he showed me what magic is outside of the borders of Czech Republic. And he showed me the way that I still follow. And then I just, he took me to Magisk Weekend in Lund. It's a magic convention. It was my first magic convention abroad, where I met Michael Almar and Peter Marvey. Rudy Kobe was there that year. It was fantastic, and I was taking pictures with everybody. Magic conventions are great to learn, and books, and books. Will I be in Blackpool 2018? I'm not sure, but I really want to go to the session, which happens usually the second weekend in January. Well, in the beginning of January. And I really like that convention. I might be in Blackpool. I'm not sure, it's a little too far, but I know I really want to go to the session because it's close to the Christmas, and I will be in Europe for Christmas. So I hope I'm gonna go there. So if you want to meet me and jam, I think I will be at the session. Oh, do penguins have knees? Give me a second. Okay, so the conclusion is, I don't know, but I don't think they need them. The butterflies have finally landed at Vanishing Inc. Go and get them. It's the best thing you're gonna do today. Go to the session and find me if I'm there. Hopefully I will be there. And let's jam. I'm gonna show you some stuff with the butterflies. Vanishing Inc. Vanishing Inc. Vanishing Inc. Butterfly playing cards at Vanishing Inc.